Computer Programming Essentials, Unit 8, Part 1. This is our last unit, so hang in there. We are almost done. In this unit, we're going to talk about strings. Strings are really arrays of characters, and we're going to talk about what that means as well. But let's start with what a character is. We're going to manipulate characters, we're going to declare and compare string objects, we're going to use other string methods, and convert string objects to numbers. So, manipulating characters or groups of characters provides some challenges for the beginning Java programmer, and really they are: a string is a reference type. The data stored in a string variable is actually just an address of where the actual string itself is stored. And the actual string itself is a collection of characters. And what does that mean by saying it's a collection? It is a data structure that is actually an array. It's homogeneous data stored contiguously in memory. That means it's data that's all the same type, stored all right next to each other in memory. We can't use the equals equals operator to compare strings because, as previously mentioned, the value that is stored at a string variable is an address of where the actual data is stored. If we use the equals equals to compare two strings, we are comparing to see if they are in the same address, not to see if they contain the same data, the same values. So we typically do not use the equals equals operator to compare two strings unless we're trying to tell if those two strings occupy the same space in memory. Here's an example. If we have two strings, a name, Carmen, and another name, we prompt the user to input another name, and we compare a name with another name, that will never be true. They will never occupy the same space in memory because they are two separate objects, and that will always be false, and it will always print Carmen does not equal anything else the user might have typed in. So, classes that work together with character data are the character class and the string class. We're going to use string quite a bit and just touch on character for a moment. A character holds an instance of a single character. It's one character in single quotes, as you might recall. The character class contains standard methods for testing characters. So we have some methods that exist that we can call on if we use the character class, such as is uppercase. Any method that starts with the word is called a predicate method, and it returns either a true or a false. We can be pretty sure is going to yield true or false just based on the word is. So is uppercase is going to test a certain character and tell whether or not that certain character is upper or lowercase. It also has a to uppercase, which we can use to convert a character to uppercase. Whether or not it is, we can take a given character and say, make sure this is uppercase by using the to uppercase method. Here's a summary of some character methods that you may wish to use. They're commonly used. Actually, they really are beyond the scope of this class, so feel free to explore them at your own leisure, but you will not be tested on them. A string literal, as you know, is a group of characters enclosed in double quotes. It's also called a string constant. This is technically an unnamed object or an anonymous object of the string class. So if it's a string literal, it's called an anonymous object. That really is, you do not need to memorize that term. I'm just throwing it out there for those who might want to learn more about programming and explore more later. A string variable is what we're going to be using quite a bit, and it's creating a variable of the string class, or a string object. The class string is defined as part of the standard java.lang library, and it's automatically imported into every program. To declare a string variable, we use the word string with an uppercase S followed by a variable name. We can then also initialize that string in a couple of different ways. The one that we will be using follows the model string variable name, such as a greeting equals, and then in double quotes some initial string that we are giving it, in this case hello. String a greeting equals hello. We could also use the word new, but that is really beyond our scope.